Hello everybody, good morning. On the same day, I didn't get my pre-editing and pre-filming done for this video like I normally do. So I'm actually filming this on the same day I'm giving it to you. So happy Halloween everybody. I hope you are enjoying the start to your week. A festive fun start is always good. But hello and welcome to this week's bump date, which is week 33. Just having my coffee this morning. Week 33, that sounds crazy. I'm at this weird time where I both feel like that's so far along, and also I'm like, oh, how many am I? 34 weeks, 33, and I don't know, it's this weird little in-between world that I'm living in. Okay, so let's get right into it. Yes, I'm 33 weeks this week. So that means baby could be here within the next 4 to 8 weeks probably. Yeah, 4 to 8 weeks he will be here within. So that it puts me between 37 and 41 weeks. I have a feeling, if I'm being honest, I'm just gonna say it out loud. I feel like there is a possibility he might be on the earlier end of my guess day. So Cody has put in his guess, and that's my husband, and he thinks he's gonna come 2 days early and be born around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I agree with that timing. I think that's probably gonna happen depending on the day, because I feel like I will go into labor on the day that I'm most relaxed and that Cody is home. I've never gone into labor without my husband being home. I think that's my body being like, okay, safety. You can go into labor now. I don't know. But I do feel like he might come on the earlier end. And now I don't know if that's gonna be a week. I could see him coming a week or so earlier. I've never had an early baby before, so I guess we'll see. If I'm still, pregnant at 41 weeks, then we'll be chatting about it and you'll know if I was very wrong. Yeah, my first was born on her guest day, and my second was born at 41 and 3 with a natural induction. So we kind of forced him out because I was this close to going into labor at any second. It was exhausting. So hopefully this one is just a little easier and maybe a little sooner, but not too soon. Must-have items haven't really changed. I don't want to talk about the same things we talk about every week, though I feel like I've realized I have another must-have item, because if you watched last week's bump date, sorry if you hear any background noises, I've got the washing machine on because it's the morning and my kids are playing a game downstairs, so in the living room, so the sound carries. Last week I talked about how I had a pretty bad pelvic girdle flare-up that was happening when I was filming that video. I'll talk to you more about that after. The flare-up has finally gone away. It was way longer than I expected. It lasted almost the entire week. It was really brutal. But I am noticing that I do so much better on days where I make sure I take my collagen. I do pro-metabolic eating. I'm super into just holistic nutrition, but it's just just more ancestral nutrition and things like that. I do the brewer's pregnancy diet while I am in my fertile times, and during pregnancy and breastfeeding. And so I've been taking collagen since way before I was pregnant. I put it in my coffee every morning. And I've noticed that on days where I forgot to take my collagen, or maybe I was having a coffee out of the house, I would have a way worse SPD day, which is the pelvic girdle pain. So it didn't clue in until I was doing some reading on pelvic girdle and SPD, and something somewhere mentioned something about collagen, and I was like, wait, I take collagen every day. And then it kind of got in my head to be is it better when on days where I make sure I take it first thing in the morning and I make sure I'm sticking to my routine? And there was a couple of days where I didn't take it because I got a coffee out or something, and I definitely had worse pelvic pain that day. So I don't know. Again, this is not tried and true evidence, but if you're suffering from pelvic girdle and you want to try a safe natural supplementation, then collagen might be something that you want to look into. I don't know. It's just something I've observed over the past week. So I would say right now, that's definitely a must-have to make sure I'm taking that every day. Sleep. Oh, sleep is doing what sleep does in the third trimester. It's generally pretty good, a little bit inconsistent. I get insomnia patches that aren't really insomnia, I don't think. I think they're more anxiety driven. So I had really severe anxiety for most of my life. until about halfway through my 20s, when I finally had gained enough tools and enough work to finally kind of get over a lot of my anxiety and be able to manage it. And now I feel like I'm not really an anxious person. I have my moments, but I do notice that pregnancy naturally makes me more anxious. So you know how some people will get like postpartum depression, some people will get like postpartum anxiety disorders. I would definitely have to worry more about looking out for the anxiety portion than the depression portion. So pregnancy and the hormones that come with it naturally increase my anxiety, and I do have to monitor it because I get a little, like, it's so easy. If you've dealt with anxiety and you've like come to the other side with it, you know that you have to monitor it and you have to be on top of it all the time to make sure that you're like not letting your brain go that way. So it's not really insomnia that I get, but it like it's been happening where I'll get up to pee a million times, but at like 4 a.m., something like that, like around, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I always have to pee. And I will get up, and sometimes I'll be like a little bit hungry, and I'll be like, oh, I can just go to sleep till breakfast, and that will keep me awake. Or sometimes like that being a little bit hungry will make me think too long about, do I go have a snack? Do I just go back to sleep? And that tiny period of awakeness around that time every morning can sometimes make me like check my phone because I'm having a hard time falling back asleep, or start thinking too much, which my anxiety can sometimes start going, and then I'll have a hard time falling asleep. So I have been having pockets where I'm up from like 4 to 7 or something like that, and then I go back to sleep for an hour or two. And that's happened a couple of times, but yeah, I wouldn't like classify that as insomnia, but it is affecting my sleep a little bit now and then. So I just have to be really conscious that when I wake up at that time, I just put myself back to bed, or I go have a really quick snack and then go right back to bed. I don't touch my phone. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like social media has just been a little bit more anxiety inducing for me right now, because we're just coming out of October, which is like, pregnancy and infant loss awareness month. So I feel like my feed has been like just full of a lot of stuff like that, and that's not something that like I'm wanting to see right now. So it definitely like piques the anxiety, right? And it's so easy to just like go down rabbit holes when you're pregnant, or just be more sensitive to stuff like that you wouldn't maybe notice before. And it's my Instagram algorithm, for example, is like showing me all this pregnancy content, but because it was October, it was showing me like a lot of like lost pregnancy content. I'm like, I don't want to see that, stop it. So yeah, that was affecting my sleep a little bit. That's a long-winded way of being like, yeah, sleep. Comfort wise, I've been doing okay though. Like I'm pretty comfortable most nights, for the most part, like as comfortable as you can be when you have a giant baby inside you. Like it's not the worst. I've had better sleeps, but it's not the worst. The only thing that really hurts sometimes, like his movements hurt a lot of the time because he's giant. He's just long. I can tell he's for sure long already. We'll see about the weight. But he's also very, very, very low in my pelvis. Like his head is already like down there and engaged. So when he moves and he moves his head, he smacks right into my bladder, and it's really painful. So if I have to pee at all, if there's any pee in my bladder, he'll punch it or like headbutt it, and it freaking hurts, and I immediately have to go pee. And so that has been disturbing my sleep more than anything, I think. It's just like this sudden like, oh my God, I'm gonna pee my pants. Like it almost feels like, I wish there was like a sensation that I could describe to you of like what, it's close to like what it feels like when your water's about to break almost. Like it, sometimes I'm like, oh God, like what? No, it's just pee. I just need to go pee. Okay. Yeah, it's just like really intense. Okay, so aches and pains, we might as well talk about, my week with my pelvic girdle flare up. I don't know what caused it. I don't know. It was just the worst flare up I've had so far. There were a couple days, probably like 3 days, where I couldn't walk. There was like 2 days where I really couldn't walk around. And then there was like the next 2 days I would have moments of being fine, and then I wouldn't be able to walk again, which sucked because I was super busy last week, so I had to cancel a lot of stuff. And I was really hoping that I would be okay by Thursday so that I could take my kids to this big Halloween party event that our the homeschool group that me and another mom run were hosting. And I did make it to that event. I was finally okay by Thursday, but in this whole week, of experiencing this really bad flare-up, I chatted with my midwife, we did a lot of things, but then I also booked myself in for my first prenatal chiropractic appointment. So I have that this week, and I'm really excited to meet this chiropractor, and I hope we click, and I hope it feels good, and hopefully it helps. So the flare-up is gone now, but I'm gonna start my prenatal chiropractic care sooner than I was going to. I originally was just gonna wait till 37 weeks just in case it triggered my body to go into labor or for my water to break, because again, I don't know what, I've never had labor happen first, like contractions and stuff. My water just breaks and labor starts. So anything to like avoid my water breaking too early if I can is something I'm always kind of looking out to do. So I was gonna avoid any, adjusting or anything like that until 37 weeks. But because of this really bad flare-up, I figured it's better to start now, and my midwife agreed. So we're gonna start, and I have my consultation this week, which I'm really excited for. And then she's just gonna help make sure my pelvis is aligned and adjusted to hopefully ease any discomfort I have and prevent any further flare-ups, hopefully. Or at least she's gonna be there for me if I do have another flare-up, and it will be some form of relief. And then also just align my pelvis for birth to make sure that my big old baby can fit as easily as possible through my pelvis. Cravings, same as normal, not really. I'm so stoked to eat Halloween candy tonight. It's gonna give me wicked heartburn, but I'm so excited for it. I'm gonna do it anyway. We had a big Thanksgiving dinner this weekend. So Thanksgiving was 3 weeks ago for us. I'm Canadian. And we went to my in-laws' house for Thanksgiving, but we always like to make our own Thanksgiving meal. And then this year I wanted to make a larger Thanksgiving meal just for our family so I could freeze a bunch of it and have turkey sandwich materials for postpartum as part of my freezer meals. So we finally had time to do that this weekend, and we did that yesterday, and it was so much fun, and it was so delicious. Oh my goodness, a giant turkey dinner was absolutely what I wanted. So it was so satisfying to eat this big old turkey dinner, and I get to have it again for dinner tonight, and I'm very excited. So not really a craving, but something I've been thinking about for this entire pregnancy, waiting. Baby movement, I touched on a little bit. His movements are really big. He's moving a ton. He has really predictable patterns now, which is really helpful. I don't do kick counts per se. I never have. It's just not something for me. I think it started as something that it was something I knew that was going to fuel my anxiety if I did really specific, pulled out an app and did kick counts. I knew that was going to make my anxiety worse or make me anxious. So I just made sure I did not do that. And so this is my third pregnancy without doing formal kick counts. But what I do is I just know his pattern, and I just observe, and I always feel him every hour anyway. Right now he's got some hiccups and he's kicking me. So I just make sure I kind of touch base with my body every hour or so, and just make sure that, I can feel him squirming, or when he moves, my brain just makes note of it. Because I'm aware of it and because I'm looking out for his movement, my brain will just be oh, he moved. Oh, he moved. So it's not so much of me not noticing because I'm busy. I've made it a priority for my brain, so my brain will alert me to the fact that he's moved. And then of course I have a couple times a day where I naturally will sit down and relax, where he's always really active, and I just make sure he's still active during those times. But he's a super, super active baby, but I feel he's also really chill. I feel he's just really active because he's long and big and really squished up in there. But this baby has really stayed out of my ribs, which I'm really grateful for, which I really wonder how his feet are, because with both, my daughter, oh my God, her feet were so far jammed into my ribs and it was so painful. My son too, but not as bad as my daughter. And this little guy, I don't know if he's got his feet, maybe it's just folded in half where his feet are in his face, because I feel a lot of his feet on the sides, but he's not all up in my ribs with his feet, which is really nice. But it's his butt that hurts sometimes when he stretches his back out and sticks his butt out, it lopsides my belly. Oh, it is uncomfortable. I think the anterior placenta also just makes things a little bit tighter in the front, so it's sometimes it's really like, oh. But yeah, baby movement is good and it's fun to feel it. I feel bad for this little guy because he gets hiccups so many times a day. Like he's gonna be such a hiccupy baby, and it makes me sad for him. I'm like, I'm sorry you have hiccups again. I don't know, is it something I'm eating? Challenges, not a whole lot of new challenges except for like that flare up, but I haven't had, so the flare up probably officially left Thursday when I woke up. So it's been several days now and I haven't had any issues. I was a little bit tender last night, a little bit sore. So I'm just making sure I have my collagen this morning. Keeping up with my yoga. Like my goal was to be able to take my kids trick-or-treating tonight. Like I was so worried that I would be, I couldn't walk across my house. I couldn't go down the stairs. Like I had to be conscious not like to just do that trip like once or twice in the day. I was struggling to walk between my kitchen and my dining table. Like it was bad. So I was so worried that I wasn't going to be able to take our kids trick-or-treating because I've never missed a trick-or-treat. We do it as a family. Like it's a big deal for us and I've never missed trick-or-treating. I was like, I have to be better by Halloween, and happy to report that has happened and I am feeling good today. I guess with movement, I should also mention Braxton Hicks, because a lot of, especially if I have first-time moms watching this, there's always a lot of questions about Braxton Hicks. I get a lot of Braxton Hicks and they start pretty early, and apparently they start earlier with each pregnancy. I think mine started around 16 weeks this time. But the Braxton Hicks have definitely increased, and they're at the point now where like my baby is big enough that they kind of like take my breath away. They're not a contraction. They don't feel like a contraction. Like I definitely know the difference of what they feel like. But I had Braxton Hicks like this with my son, and then I also had prodromal labor for 2 weeks, which is like, it's like early labor, but it's not going to turn into full-blown labor. It's like practice labor, but it's more than Braxton Hicks, where your contractions are like countable. You get like real contractions and you feel like you're about to go into labor and like you're counting them, and it's like, oh, tonight's the night, and then they fizzle out in the evening when you go to sleep and you lose them, and then it happens all the next day. So that happened to me with my son for 2 weeks, which was like so exhausting. I'm hoping I don't get it this time, but the Braxton Hicks have definitely gotten more intense to the point where like I think he's just so big that when they happen, my belly just gets so hard that it's like this sensation that's hard to explain, but it's like just so heavy feeling when it happens that like it kind of like makes me catch my breath. So yeah, lots of Braxton Hicks. They're not painful though. I would find them more inconvenient, and I have to be really careful now with making sure I'm hydrated, which isn't super hard for me, but if I'm doing too much, I will get more Braxton Hicks, and it will be my cue to slow down, put my feet up, drink some water, chill out. So I really have to be careful with too much walking. I go on a lot of walks, and just too much busy work, too much being on my feet, so I just have to be conscious of those things. Best moment of the week would probably be waking up and not having pelvic girdle pain that day. Oh, I know that was last week, but yeah, it was rough, and I'm just like really grateful. I'm feeling better. I've got a midwife appointment coming up soon. I have to book that with my midwife. We're pretty casual about it. We just know that we need to like hit a visit within a certain amount of days every, like, we're like, okay, we're due for a visit here. And I just keep my schedule super open for her. Like basically my midwife trumps all other appointments for the most part. So I'll like boot anything I need to when she is around my area, because she travels pretty far to get to me. So yeah, I've got a midwife appointment coming up, and that will be really fun. I'm gonna go finish getting the rest of my birth supplies this week, and it's getting real, you guys. It's really getting real, and I'm really excited, and I can't believe it. I feel like I've been in a little bit of denial, but I'm like starting to come out of it. Like denial is in like, I talked about this last week a little bit, just it took so long to get to this baby, and I just didn't know if it was ever gonna happen. And then getting pregnant was such a feat that I feel like I've just been in awe this entire time that it happened, and that he's here and he made his way to us, and it's just this surreal experience. And then the way my pregnancy lined up with being due a week before Christmas, this is like my busiest season, so just I was sick for like the time where we would be more chill in the spring and summer, and then everything picked up when I stopped being sick. So September, October, November, December are my busiest months of the year, and yeah, so like being pregnant during that, it's just made it like speed by so fast that I just feel like the months are flying, the days are flying, because I'm kept busy with so many other things. So it's been like a huge blessing in that way, where it just, so this pregnancy doesn't feel like it's dragging at all, but it's like, oh, I have to like get in that headspace. I have to wrap my head around it. Like, it's time to let the reality set in that you could have a baby in 4 weeks. Your home birth safe in like less than 4 weeks now. That's crazy. So yeah, it's a surreal experience, but I'm very grateful. Okay, let's show you the belly and then let's get going, because I gotta edit this and get it to you. And then I have to go carve pumpkins with my kids. Okay, I'm still in my pajamas halfway, so I'm not gonna pretend that this shirt fits, but here's the, wearing my Sanderson's sister's shirt today. 33 weeks. Here we are. Big old baby. I'm curious to see what I'm measuring, if I'm still measuring 3 weeks ahead, or if maybe we're like slowed down a little bit. I don't know. I've never talked about the weight gain or anything. I really still have not gained very much weight this pregnancy. I lost a whole bunch in the beginning. I'm bigger than I was last time, but I've only gained 7 pounds this whole pregnancy, which is weird, since I gained about 30 to 40 with each of my other ones, but I'm bigger this time. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but there we go. Big old baby. All right, you guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. There will be one more video until Vlogmas starts. So you guys are gonna get our trick-or-treating video, like the video from today, the vlog from today, and then Vlogmas begins, and excuse me, with all of Vlogmas content also comes all of the big baby content that I've been waiting to give you guys. So this month you're gonna hear things about my birth plan. I'm gonna go over my home birth supply stuff, how I'm prepping my kids for a home birth, my postpartum plans, what 40 days of rest is and means to me, like so much baby content and like just birth prep stuff in the midst of all this, because I don't know what December is gonna look like. So I'm trying to give you as much content as I can this month. And then December will kind of be, take it day by day. Whatever is pre-filmed is pre-filmed, and whatever is not is not. But I hope you enjoy the coming vlog season. And yeah, I can't wait to chat with you more. So we'll see you in my next one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are all really, really well and doing well. If you're pregnant, I hope you're feeling okay. I hope you're feeling good, but I hope you're at least feeling okay. Let me know if you want to tell me about your pregnancy or how far along you are or whatever else in the comments down below. I'm always happy to read and talk to you guys there. But yeah, until next time, we'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.